Okay, let's go. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fleur and I make YouTube videos. Today I want to give you an update on my burnout recovery journey. If you've seen my burnout story video, I'll have it linked down below and in the information box. But I told you my whole story. We are now 10 months. I am now 10 months into recovery, and I just wanted to give you a little update on how I'm doing, what I'm still struggling with, what the past few months have looked like for me, and some people asked some questions, so we're also going to do a little Q&A at the end. Just like in my last video, I want to clarify that I am Dutch, I live in the Netherlands, and we have a healthcare system that might be very different from yours. I don't know where you're from, so take what I say generally with a pinch of salt, because it's just my experience in my country, in my culture, in my position. You know the drill. I'm just a girl in the world trying to live her life, so don't bully me in the comments, please, because I'm sensitive. Also, I want to mention that burnout is viewed differently in different countries, and burnout manifests itself as illness, and in the Netherlands, it is therefore treated as such. So I'll be talking about it from a standpoint of I'm ill. I think that's good to keep in mind. So how have I been doing? I have recorded this video 3 times, and I find it really hard to talk about still. I'm noticing that I find it gradually harder to talk about because I am doing a lot better. And I'm really glad about that, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy to slowly feel myself coming back again, because I've missed myself a lot, and to be able to do certain things. I can drive a little bit further than I could when I made that first video. I've seen friends, I've stayed in the city a few nights, which was huge and so rewarding. I actually just got back yesterday from a trip where I saw my roommates again for the first time in my old home, and it really felt like coming home, and that was so nice. But because I'm feeling a lot better, I find it harder to talk about the things that still aren't going well, because I feel like I've been worse and I'm doing so good, so I shouldn't be whiny about it, and that's where my old patterns kind of come back. I dealt a lot with people pleasing and not being able to set my boundaries very well and wanting to do well, perfectionism, etc. I've talked about that all in my last video, and I noticed that those things are starting to resurface again in ways that are a little bit more subtle than in the beginning. I don't really have the words to explain this properly, I think. Anyway, I'm just noticing that there are still a lot of things I'm working through, and that's a bit confronting sometimes and difficult, and yeah. So what can I do now that I couldn't do when I filmed that first video? Like I said, I can drive a bit further, I can handle conversation better, I can even do group conversations better and not feel so extremely wiped out afterwards. That's kind of the core of what everything that I can do now relates to. I measure it as how much does it wipe me out afterwards. Recording videos is going better. I can run an errand and not have to nap afterwards. I think just in general I can take much better care of myself. I started picking up my phone more when my friends called me, which is really nice, because I still don't like it when people call me without telling me in advance, but I started to pick up a lot more, and I think that that's a really good sign. Things that I'm still struggling with are decision fatigue or getting overwhelmed easily. So I'm naturally a pretty indecisive person, but if someone asks me a question of like, what do you want for dinner? And if I'm already really tired, I shut down completely and I just get overwhelmed by choice, and I don't know what to do. And first I would start crying over that, but now it's just I can express like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I have to think about that. So that's a good thing, but that's something that still occurs quite often. For example, I was going to the city to stay there for a few nights, and my mom dropped me off, and while we were in the car I noticed that I forgot my coat. And it's really cold, but we were already halfway, and because that shocked me so much, and I was like, I coordinated my outfits around that coat, like it's nothing, but in my mind it felt so big. I got so overwhelmed that I started crying, and I was like, we should just go home, whatever, I'll go tomorrow, which I shouldn't go the next day because it takes a lot of energy to travel anyways, so It was very confronting and interesting to see myself overreact. I don't wanna say overreact because it's just where I'm at right now and what my brain is like. So I don't wanna talk down on myself for doing that because it's just what happens. I'm trying to be kind to myself, but that was surprising. But on the other hand, it didn't last that long, and when I got there, I just bought a new coat, which It's very inconvenient, but you know, the experience was worth it so much more to actually go and not cancel and everything. So that's something I'm definitely still struggling with. I'm also still tired a lot, which just sucks. And it will always suck. I think that one of the biggest things that I'm struggling with is also the thing that I find hardest to talk about right now. So I'm going to try not to cry because I don't want to. But I've been feeling a little bit empty, and I feel like I'm missing something big. This might sound really vague, so bear with me for a bit, but it kind of feels like I have this itch on my back and I just can't reach it, I can't scratch it, and I don't know how to make the itch go away. And I feel like it has a lot to do with me being in bed a lot and being at home a lot and living pretty isolated. And with that, a lot of insecurity started to resurface. I talked about this on my ASMR channel about confidence, etc. in a girl talk video, but I do believe that confidence is a muscle and you can train that and make it stronger, but it can also be taken away. And I feel like my confidence got a bit of a setback, if you will. And I think that has a lot to do with, because I live so isolated, social interactions are kind of unfamiliar again. I feel like I'm relearning things. I'm like, how do I behave? Do we hug? Do we shake hands? I'm so self-conscious in those moments, and I feel a little bit fragile socially, which I really don't like because I am an extrovert and I love talking to people, and like, talking in front of a camera isn't that big of a deal to me. Having a platform in essence isn't big of a deal to me, but I noticed that also because my platform on my ASMR channel grew a lot very quickly, which was really overwhelming. I got a lot more shy. I am in this moment feeling a lot more shy than I did, which is why this was the perfect moment to film, because I do think that exposure therapy is the best way to go. I don't know, I just don't feel fulfilled, not by making videos, not by making music, not by going on a walk, and it's hard to find a balance between how do I find peace within myself again in the situation that I'm in, but also maybe I'm just ready for a next step and it's just done. And that's why I went to the city, because I'm trying to sublet an apartment or something to see if I can try to live on my own again for a while and be around my friends more, because I'm noticing that emptiness is mostly from spending so much time with myself. I'm so sick of myself, and not in a very direct way, because I love myself, I'm really happy with who I am, and I love being around myself, but it's just been long enough. And that's really hard to navigate when you're still really tired and your friends all live very far away. So yeah. And I'm noticing that a FaceTime call or something like that just doesn't really cut it. And after we hang up, I just feel sad and empty and a little bit depressed. I don't like those feelings because they make me really anxious, because I've mentioned that in my burnout video. I've had a phase where I felt very depressed, and that really scared me a lot. So every time I feel this void, it gets louder. I really don't have the language for this. I'm really sorry. This is a language barrier thing. I get scared. That makes me really sad. So I'm not in a very positive headspace right now. Yeah, also the season is changing, which affects me anyway. So I feel a little bit fragile, and I don't like that. And that's just hard to navigate because I don't exactly know what to do about it. I'm trying to just figure that out by experimenting. So like going to the city, trying that apartment out, going to a friend's house, even though I'm tired, to just try it out, because there's this balance between I'm tired, I need to do something that brings me energy or be around people that bring me energy, and I need to rest and lay down. And I think that that's the most important thing to learn in a burnout is, and in general in your life, if you're really busy, etc., it's how do I recharge my battery, and to find a balance within that. So you can't always think I'm tired, I've worked so much, blah blah blah, I'm just gonna fill all my free time with doing fun stuff, because it'll physically tire you out. Or this one was the friends thing, I don't know. You get what I mean, I think. And I'm finding that balance really hard again. But on the other hand, I'm really glad and grateful to be struggling with this, if that makes sense, because I spent so many months just trying to get through the day and not be in bed sleeping all day. I can now do things and be discontent with not being able to do enough. And I'm really grateful that I'm at that point. But it doesn't mean that it's not valid. I think that that's all I wanted to say about this. I might add some words. Editing Fleur will always pop up. So I hope I hope I said enough of the things that I wanted to say. I'm just trying to find things that emotionally also fulfill me now, because physically I'm alright. on the up and up. It's still up and down a lot, and okay, I'm just going to go into the questions and maybe some things will pop up and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, yeah, I immediately forgot something pretty big. How are you surviving without working? Do you have savings? Just curious. I think that that's a really good question. Once again, keep in mind that I'm Dutch and our healthcare system works differently. So I was working when I got ill, so I got sick leave and I still got paid while I was away. My contract ended last month, so as of this month I'm unemployed. So I'm not working, but I do get an income from the government. They're paying me for 3 months because you have to work an X amount of days in a year to be able to get 3 months of pay. If you want it for longer than that, or you need it for longer than that, you would have to have worked an X amount of hours in the past 4 years. And I'm 20 hours short because in 2019 I didn't work the 200 something hours that you would have to work in a year to be able to now get pay from the government. I hope I translated that okay, but for the Dutch people, een uitkering van het UWV, allemaal ingewikkeld. But I'm really grateful to have some money for the next couple of months, and I'm really, really, really lucky and happy and thankful that I started my YouTube channel, because that has given me the opportunity to be monetized and to make money off of that, which comes in very handy right now. I don't like the idea of relying on that financially, but I am lucky enough to have a platform big enough that I'm able to do that, which is insane to me. So if you watch my ASMR videos or comment or are subscribed or whatever, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I guess that good things come to you in very unexpected ways. Do you plan on returning to the life you had before? Absolutely not. And also, yes. How I was dealing with things and processing things, no. And the way that I lived my life before, no. I would never want to go back to that because that got me in this position. I don't know what life is going to look like after. I don't know if there really is an after. I don't like to look at it like that because that means that I would be waiting for some moment that I'll wake up and be like, everything is normal now. I'm now in the after. And gradually that happens, of course, but I'm just trying to live in the now, be in the moment, you know, that kind of stuff, because that is what gets me through. So, yeah, I'm just focusing on what's ahead and not too much on what was before, but I do want to go back to seeing my friends a lot and being around them and just having fun and have that life spark again, if that makes sense. I still have that life spark, but being in a group of people and having fun conversation and laughing, going home then and feeling so happy and fulfilled, like, oh, I'm so glad I was there. That feeling, that fulfilled feeling, I miss that a lot. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. Can you tell me what a typical day looks like for you recently? At the moment, my days look like I wake up around 7, I read or journal, and I do my skincare, have breakfast, then I'll either lay down for a bit because I'm just a little bit tired still, but if I woke up with energy, I'll get ready, do my makeup. I started going to the gym again, which is also a big update. Work on my strength again and my stamina because I have been laying in bed a lot, okay guys, for 10 months, and that does something to your health. You know, when you walk up the stairs and you're like so out of breath. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'll go to the gym or do yoga, which I really love doing. Then I do something creative. Usually I'll make ASMR videos in the morning, or I'll make music, or I'll go outside, run errands, that kind of stuff, because that's where my energy is the highest, or I see a friend. Then I lay down. Then I have lunch. Then I sometimes lay down again. So like I said, it's a lot of laying around in bed because I've been so unmotivated. Like, it's getting so much harder to get out of bed and keep myself out of bed. I also live in a pretty small space, as you can probably tell. But then I'll do something else until 4, and then I lay down again, and then we have dinner like 6:30, and then I read and go to bed. That's kind of it. What do you find most draining or stressful about your current situation? Well, we've talked about that, but I would say loneliness, missing my social life, being frustrated a lot because now my head and my heart want to do things and I can't because I'm tired. And I'm very tired of being tired. Do you have any coping mechanisms? If so, what are they? XOXO. Yeah, I do. And they're mostly my creative outlets. I think that I have this never-ending urge to create something, and not necessarily in the way of I need to be productive and do something. I just need to create something. My hands will just quite literally get itchy, like I need to do something. So when I have multiple days where I'm really tired, I feel horrible mentally because I don't have the energy to create create something, and creating something can be making a video or editing a video. It can be writing a song, doing a cover, decorate things around my room, something like that. Maybe do a little drawing or painting. Yeah, I think that those are really my coping mechanisms. I like to go for a walk without music to really try to be mindful. Meditating helps me a lot. Yoga helps me a lot. Those are really my go-to coping mechanisms. I do notice that I am a verbal processor, so I really like talking through things with people when I'm dealing with something, and I haven't been doing that much because, like I said, it's gotten a bit harder. But that's definitely a coping mechanism as well. Did everyone around you take it seriously? I'm very, very lucky to say that yes, they did. Everyone I've met has taken it so seriously. Depending on the relationship I've had with that person, it varies a little bit, but generally, especially people who have been through burnout or have people in their life going through burnout, they're so nice about it. And the second that I told everyone about it, like group projects that I was working on, volunteering things, everyone was like, okay, drop everything, you can reach out when you feel better, don't worry. And that was it. And that's exactly what I needed. Like, no questions asked, just okay, take your space. And that's the good thing about how well known it is in the Netherlands and how well treated it is. Yeah, that has helped so much. I do notice that for people it's sometimes still really hard to understand where my boundaries lie, which I mostly notice in my friends. Like, it's hard to figure out, I think, what can she do and what can't she do, because I also don't really know. And sometimes things are still really scary to do, so there's also this little layer of anxiety around certain things, but everyone takes it very seriously. The best way to manage burnout if I can't change my schedule. I think that here the language barrier comes in, because with burnout it would 100% be advised to drop everything you're doing and just rest. So burnout here is kind of the part where you've already toppled over the edge. So if you're in a state of being very overworked and fatigued and going towards burnout, the advice that I would give to prevent it is to really have a sit down with yourself and make it a moment and look at your schedule and be really honest with yourself. Where can I make more time to rest? Where can I make more time for fun? And what do I need? I would also say contact a therapist, because they can talk you through that kind of stuff and you can brainstorm with them on a deeper level than how you would brainstorm with a friend, obviously. But it's nice to have someone work with you on that kind of stuff. I'm staring at my laptop with the question, by the way. I was working a lot and it was a very chaotic job and I had a lot of responsibilities, generally, also with writing my thesis, like I've talked about. And I filled all my free time with doing social stuff, because I was like, well, now I can see my friends. I barely see them, and I really lost sight of what I needed and when I needed to rest without stimulus from everywhere and to really be still. So I came to a point where I couldn't be still. I was just so all the time. So like I said, rest comes in different ways, so you need to find that balance again. And I think that if you are heading towards burnout and feeling so overtired, you need to physically get that rest, have that time and space to yourself. But that's just me. So I would say contact a therapist, find one you click with, look with them. If you can't, I would really say have a sit down and see is it possible for me to maybe work less and still afford my living costs? I know that sounds really drastic, but those are things you might need to do, because you are working to live and not living to work, you know? Maybe skip the gym once in a while, maybe lift a little bit less heavy, because it can tire you out so much more. You can exercise yourself into burnout, actually. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the gym anymore at all or lift super light, but you have to find that balance as well. So if there's someone in your gym who can help you with that, like find a trainer or something to talk to, reach out to professionals and don't just mess around yourself the whole time. That's definitely something I would recommend. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a child? Well, it also just takes a village to continue to live your life as an adult. So I would reach out to that village. Mostly I would just say give yourself grace and time and be patient with yourself and think about your intentions. So why are you going to that party? Do you want to see that friend and talk to that friend, or do you feel like you have to go because otherwise you're missing out or something? And that's a good thing to discern. Am I doing it for me or am I doing it for other people? And to start focusing more on doing it for you, because you matter the most and your health matters the most, regardless of what anybody says. The final question is how to stop justifying yourself to others on the path you choose. This is a really big question, I think. It sounds harsh maybe, but I think that the most valuable thing is to learn how to discern when something is your problem or their problem. You know your life, like I said, you know your life and your health best, and you matter most. People People are probably gonna judge anyway, and they're not gonna tell you. So as long as they don't tell you, it's their problem. That is intertwined with that confidence that I was talking about. So I really had no issue in the beginning when I made my ASMR channel, for example, to be open on the internet about that kind of stuff. And I felt so much distance from judgment of people that I know in my personal life. But as my platform grew and I started going out more, seeing people again, and people from my real life following my ASMR and my channel, I got more scared of that judgment again, because I used to be really scared of that, so that's kind of an old pattern. But I think it's really important to keep reminding yourself who you're doing this for, and it's for you, for yourself. And that's what matters, and the people who will respect that and understand that and support that will stick around, and the others will fade into the background. So you'll get to a point where you don't really feel like you have to justify yourself, because it just is. And I think that the more you have to justify yourself to others, they are definitely the wrong people to be around. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Okay, I hope this video was insightful or answered your question or gave you some insight as to how I'm doing right now. Let me know what else you would like to hear about. I am really thankful to you guys for being here and for being so sweet to me. And the past few months I've gotten so many nice messages, and you guys sharing your stories with me. It's crazy to me how similar we are, despite us living on other sides of the world, for example. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. You're doing it alone, but you're not alone in the situation. And I hope that brings you some comfort. No life is perfect, and you should never compare yourself to anybody. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and do all that stuff. I talk about these kind of things pretty regularly on my Instagram, which is @fleur.peters, so definitely come follow me over there and we can hang out. Yeah, I'm sending you lots of love. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!